All right, so here's a real quick video on how to make a cut plane on a flange perpendicular to a pipe. So you can see we got 2 point groups here. This is our flange when you look at it from the side here, and this is our pipe or shaft. So we want to get a perpendicular um, plane to that, and we want to cut this flange so that it's perpendicular exactly to that shaft. So first of all, we're going to use the features tab, and we're going to create a cylinder and a plane, and then we're going to intersect those two so we can use that for our origin. So I'm going to go ahead and set my data association to point groups. That'll just allow me to pick these groups. It's kind of nice that they're grouped into different features automatically for us. So then we'll pick cylinder and pick our cylinder point group. So now we've got a cylinder there. And then we'll pick plane and pick our plane point group. So now we've got a plane. You can see that when SA builds both of these features, it automatically offsets for the point offsets. So we've got a plane and a cylinder, then we just need the intersection of those two. So we'll hit the drop down under point and we'll do cylinder and plane intersection. So I'll click on the plane, or sorry, cylinder, and then click on the plane. And now we've got our intersection point right there. So that's all the things that we need in order to build a coordinate frame. And the only thing that we don't have really is a clocking feature here. So if clocking matters, then you'll probably need to measure 2 points that are kind of clocked in the direction that you want them to be. But because it doesn't really matter to this example, we'll just use the world frame as our clocking feature. Let me see. Okay, our world frame is sort of off in space there. So what we'll do is we'll use the frame wizard to construct a new frame. Our primary axis is going to be along the cylinder here. So we'll select this as an object. Our secondary axis, like I mentioned, doesn't really matter. It's just for clocking. So we will pick our object and use the world frame. And then our origin, we're going to use that intersection point there. All right, so it looks like that's valid, and then we're going to make that also the oh, it doesn't allow us to make it active yet, so we'll hit accept here. We don't have a nominal that we're comparing it to, so I'm just going to hit enter there, and then we'll make that the active frame. All right, so now we've got this frame, and it exactly intersects this plane here. And then so in order to create a cut plane, you could just open up a watch window and just watch your X and Y when they're equal to 0. But that's going to be at the center of your SMR. And so you don't necessarily want the center of your SMR to be your cut. So what we'll do is create an XY plane using the construction right exactly on this coordinate frame. So let's go to build construction, build a manual plane here. And you can see that that is our coordinate plane. And then I just want to make sure that this is pointing to the side that I'm going to measure from. So let me just hide that frame really quick. Okay, so this is pointing to this direction, which means that we'd have to put our SMR on this side. We actually want to reverse that so that now when we put our SMR, we can touch exactly on this plane. And then the other thing here that might be critical is you may not necessarily want to cut your flange right at the middle because you may end up with more cut than you actually need to do. So what you could do is transform this plane in or out so that you're doing the minimum amount possible. So if you put your watch window on the plane and then you touch on the flange, you want one of those sides to basically be 0. So if you put a watch window on this plane and then put your SMR on here, you can take that number that it gives you, whatever that large number is, and then you can just transform it in the Z direction that amount. So let's say you get an 1/8 inch down here and you're at a 1/4 inch up here. So you basically want to transform it an 1/8 inch this way so that you're cutting 0 on the bottom and you're cutting an 1/8 inch on the top. So you could just bump this up or down. Oh, we don't want to go 3 inches here. We'll just go 0.125. And I think that needs to be negative. There we go. And we just kind of bumped our plane that direction an 1/8 of an inch. So now that we're cutting 0 at the bottom of the flange and we're cutting an 1/8 inch at the top of the flange. So that's the whole process, really pretty simple. And you can use that anytime you need a perpendicular plane to a cylinder or hole or shaft, however you want to do it.